Welcome to How Preschool Teachers Do It.
I'm Cindy.
I'm Alison.
And we have a combined 55 years of experience working with children, families, and experts in early education.
We are not random influencers.
No, we are not. Whether you are new or have been our podcast peeps since 2018, we are thrilled you found us. Yet another Monday. Did I start the last one that way? I might have. It's another Monday, preschool peeps. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, everybody.
Welcome back to the podcast. This is sort of a special Monday because in the United States this is releasing on Thanksgiving week.
Yes.
So we do want to take this opportunity to say thank you to all of you, our preschool peeps, for coming, listening, recommending us. I have found us recommended on Reddit to people.
That was amazing.
That was so cool. Yes. Not gonna lie.
I woke up to that information this morning. I was like, oh, yay.
there's subreddits. There's subreddits for ECE professionals, and I think it was the ECE professional subreddit where I just sort of happened along. Yeah. Someone asked for recommendations for podcasts for early learners, and I was like, oh, I wonder what people recommended, and they recommended us. So that was kind of cool.
That was really cool.
So thank you for doing that, for recommending us. Yeah. Please go on places and recommend us. We would love that. Yeah. And, we always say tell your friends and neighbors, but also apparently you can tell just random strangers in places like Reddit.
Well, we also had this whole episode with your son, Michael, about how neighborhoods and communities are different now because you have the whole internet as your community. So please, it's all connecting.
and please know during this Thanksgiving week in the United States how very, very thankful we are to still be doing this podcast, which is unbelievable to us, and to have so many people either tell me when they meet me or email us or send us contact messages and support what we hope is good things we're trying to put out in the world. We're trying to put out good stuff. So thank you very much for being our preschool peeps. We will be thinking about you on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And we are also super thankful, especially to two locations that Allison is going to shout out.
Yes, we are shouting out Morocco today. So hello and thank you for being here. And also another state that we have never shouted out before, and I don't know how that happened, but here it is. New Mexico. Hello. Thank you for being here.
Every time you say never shout out before, I think we might have in those earlier episodes when we first started doing this. But if you haven't binged us, you wouldn't know that because we haven't said it.
It was years ago.
We haven't said it in a while. So thank you very much, people in Morocco and people in New Mexico, for being among our preschool peeps. We will especially think of you on Thursday. How about that? And all the other places we have shouted out. And today we have a topic that it's sort of related to something maybe that we started to say in the last episode, sort of like it's adjacent. It's not fully related. It's kind of topic adjacent, but a different perspective on when children are having a social struggle, right? So for a long time, and still today, some of the advice that has been given out is that when you have a child who has been aggressive with another child, that the thing to do is ignore the aggressor.
Yes.
And by ignore the aggressor, I mean turn your back on them, spend an extended amount of time talking to the victim first. You are going to attend to the victim first to see if they are hurt. Yes. Okay, I need to say this disclaimer. I'm not saying don't check on the victim first. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm saying you need to check on the victim to see if they are hurt, but then we need to shift our attention and attend to the aggressor. Yeah. We should not be turning our backs. They need to know they're still in our sight.
Yes.
And we need to go from the victim to the child who was aggressive as quickly as possible, is what the current research is showing.
Yes.
Not going, I'm not going to talk to you until, or you need to go sit over there and disconnecting from them. I'm going to spend 10 minutes on this victim when they really only required 4.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Not that sort of advice. And instead, we're going to turn and we're going to tend to the aggressor, because ignoring them, spending an extended amount of time with the victim beyond what they need, sending them from us does not address the issue fast enough.
I don't think it addresses the issue at all. You know, like when you're ignoring that issue, how are they supposed to learn from what happened?
One of the things they can learn from us about what happened is a little bit of empathy.
Yeah.
And we need to keep in mind that when there's a situation where a child has expressed themselves through aggressive behavior, that child is also struggling in some way.
Yes.
So you have a victim who is struggling because they're the victim.
Yeah.
And we need to talk to them about that. But the aggressor is also struggling.
Right.
They don't use aggression over and over and over again, especially unless it's filling a need. The child has a need.
Yeah.
And so in order for me to model empathy, I need to remember that and remember that that child is struggling and get to them as soon as possible too.
Right.
And you know what happens when you don't get to them as soon as possible? Whatever caused them to do what they did aggressively, which could be anger or frustration most of the time, it just ramps up.
I feel like it makes them angrier.
Yeah, it ramps up.
Right. So like you're ignoring, they had an episode, an issue, something happened to cause them to be aggressive, and now you're ignoring them. And so now they're even angrier because now they're being ignored.
And listen, we know there are children who are looking for attention.
Yeah.
And it's because they can't figure out how to get it in a crowd of 15 children in your class. They just can't figure out how to get your attention in better ways.
Yeah.
And then once they get your attention a few times from less desirable behaviors, they will just continue those behaviors because it worked.
Right.
But that doesn't mean they're not struggling with something. That child is struggling. Their behavior should be telling us, I couldn't figure this out. I had no other tools in my box to use, and that's why I pushed, hit, shoved, grabbed, pulled hair, spit.
Right, because I
Bit.
think going back a couple sentences ago of what you said is, I think there is this misconception that when a child is acting aggressively, they're doing it only for attention. Right? And if you listen to our previous episode, I think it's because people are not making their feelings, the feelings of the aggressor, be fact, right? They're doing it for attention, therefore ignore it because then they'll try, they won't get the attention that way. And I think it's different than that. They're having a feeling. The only way they know how to do this feeling or process it or manage it right now is to be aggressive.
Yep.
And you're not addressing the feeling because you're just assuming he wants attention, and that's not necessarily the reason that they are doing it.
We said in the last episode their feelings are facts. That's the
Yes,
title. If you didn't listen, go listen or watch or whatever, however you
because I do
connect
think
with
these
us.
two are related.
I do now even see a bigger relationship because I think what we do sometimes is we treat the victim's feelings like facts, but not the aggressor.
1,000%.
So both of these children are having big feelings.
Yes.
One child's big feelings are not more legitimate than another child's big feelings.
Right.
They just expressed them in different ways. One way, more palatable to an adult.
Correct.
The other way, not so much.
Right.
So I as you're talking, I'm thinking, we treat the victim's feelings like a fact in that situation,
like those
but
feelings
not.
are valid.
Yes.
And the aggressor's feelings are not, so let's dismiss it.
So I want to give the disclaimer again that I'm not saying ignore the victim.
Yeah.
You go, you check on the victim.
Right.
You make sure that whatever needs to be done for their health and safety is done, right? You can be holding the victim and at the same time turn to the aggressor and talk to them about their feelings. And we said last time, feelings are facts.
Yeah.
To say, I know you were frustrated because you wanted what she had.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of times what I do is I'll talk to them both at the same time. Like I make sure the victim's okay, but the only way to really solve the problem is that they're all there. All the people who are in that situation are there, because if I'm talking separately, then it's almost like a game of telephone. Like, oh, hey, Johnny said you did this. Is that true? Okay, let me go talk to John. Let me go. No, like if you're all there, and if you want to teach children to talk to each other about the problems, either during or after the fact or before the incident happens, you gotta get them together.
Can we talk for a second? It's related, I promise. Okay. She's looking at me. Can we talk for a second about how very much we were taught to ignore related to children?
ignore was a big part of our
Ignore,
training. Okay.
ignore this behavior, ignore the feelings, ignore the aggressor, ignore the child whose behavior you don't approve of, ignore the child who's whining. The child is whining because the child is having an emotion. Ignore, ignore, ignore.
Yeah. It's a lot of ignoring.
It is. And it makes you feel, I want you to think about as an adult how you feel when people ignore you. It is
Oh
so
God, it's awful.
invalidating.
Yeah, it's awful.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, even to not acknowledge, you know, a form of ignoring and ignoring the aggressor is to not acknowledge how they were feeling. So,
Right.
you know, even when, let's say you, I want to relate it to adults, even when you as an adult, let's say you're having a big feeling and someone basically ignores that feeling and just keeps going back to, but this, but that, but this. You can't even hear that they may be making sense because your feelings have been ignored.
Right. Well, you know what happens when you ignore and continue to dismiss people's feelings is eventually they stop sharing their feelings with you.
That's
And then
true.
they internalize it all, and then all sorts of turmoil could happen, or they don't trust you as one of their people anymore because you're like, well, I can't tell her my feelings, so what's the point?
That's very
And
true.
you lose friendships over this, or relationships end, or whatever happens because you are not validating and making sure my feelings are heard as facts, right? So why would I share them with you?
So let's go back to talking about the aggressor.
Yeah.
In a classroom situation.
Yeah.
The children are getting ready to go outside. You don't even know why, but you see one child kick another child.
Yeah.
The child who kicked the other child, that child needs to be addressed and their feelings need to be addressed, and that child is struggling, and that's why they kicked the other child.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to go to the child who was kicked.
Right.
And I'm going to say, like we do, oh my goodness, are you okay? Let me see your leg.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I am going to do
Yeah,
that.
I am
I'm going to go,
gonna
let
do
me
that.
see your leg.
Yes.
I might say to someone, we need to get ice,
Right.
or I'm going to call for ice. And then I'm turning right away to the other child and saying, I see that you were frustrated or mad because you kicked.
Yeah.
And talk about what made them frustrated or mad and what they should do instead
Right.
of kicking. And remind them that we have a promise in this space to keep each other safe.
Right.
Right? That's one of our rules.
Yes.
We have a promise. A rule is like a promise.
Yeah.
We're going to keep each other safe. So I think the amount of time we spend on the victim is often exaggerated.
Yes.
Because I find so many adults are like, the other child, the aggressor, needs to see this isn't going to get my attention, when actually it must get your attention. Their feelings must get your attention. If they're
Yes.
looking for your attention, they need your attention. You just want to give it in better ways.
Right.
When that's not
Right.
happening. And how on earth are they going to learn empathy? The aggressor isn't one of the, so a child behaves in an aggressive manner often.
Right.
What I'm trying to teach that child is empathy for the other people. Like when you hurt, that hurts her. When you hit, that hurts her skin. When you kick, that hurts him.
Yeah.
Right? I'm trying to teach them that empathy, that other people have feelings and that their feelings matter. That's empathy.
Right.
Other people have feelings and their feelings matter.
Right.
I can't teach a child that unless I model it to them about them, because they have an egocentric point of view.
True.
So if empathy is other people have feelings and their feelings matter, then you must turn to the child who exhibited the aggressive behavior, acknowledge those feelings because they matter.
Yes.
And when you do that, you are demonstrating what you actually need to teach this child who behaves aggressively, which is other people have feelings.
Right.
We have to acknowledge that other people have feelings, and we have to respect that.
Right. And you have, like, if you don't want the aggressor to continue to be aggressive, then you need to teach the aggressor how to manage their own feelings, not just through empathy, but like, if you're feeling frustrated, instead of kicking, this is what you can do instead. And if you're fully ignoring the aggressor, they're never going to learn what to do instead.
No, they're just going to get more frustrated. And by the time you talk to them about it, they're not interested
They're
anymore.
not interested anymore.
They're just not interested anymore.
Yeah,
and so they're not attending to the conversation. And then that's that.
Understand how ignoring is still being taught in several professional developments that I've been in. So like, and it's 2025.
There's a difference sometimes with children, so that they know I'm not ignoring them. Sometimes they have to calm down.
Yeah.
Right? And I can't address it yet,
true.
or whatever.
Yes.
I will do something like, if the child is okay with it, I will just put my hand on them.
Yes.
I'll put my hand on their arm or back so they know I'm right here. I'm still with you.
Yeah.
Right? I'm with you.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to wait to have the conversation. That's different than ignoring.
Yes.
I think we need to redefine ignoring, maybe. Maybe take ignoring out of the vocabulary and just talk about how we are going to attend to the children.
Yes.
Because it is not my job to only spend most of the time attending to the children whose behavior I like. It's my job to attend to everyone's social emotional needs.
You're only attending to the children whose feelings you understand.
Right. Sometimes I can't relate to how they feel. I can't relate
to the aggressiveness.
No, me neither.
Behavior.
I can't.
So let me just ignore it because I don't know how to deal with that. But I understand your victim mentality. I get that.
I get your victim mentality. I get you as a victim, not so much as an aggressor. I understand what
it's like to be a victim, but I don't necessarily know what it's like to be an aggressor. So like, maybe if I just ignore that, it'll go away. Like, that's not how it works. And like, maybe if you want to grow as a person, as a teacher, you'll try to put yourself in the eyes of the aggressor.
Yeah.
So then you can learn more about that child and just about emotions in general.
So time on the victim, whatever time they need, really.
Yeah.
But not beyond what they need.
Right.
Because we tend to go beyond what they need.
Yeah.
I also have been in situations, and some of you may be thinking this, where I'm right near where the incident happened. So I'll go over to the victim and say, "Are you okay? Let me see your leg." And then another adult in the room will come over and say, "I've got her."
Yeah.
So that I could deal with the child whose behavior was aggressive.
Yes.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
But I have had people come over and say, "I've got her." And they take the victim.
Right.
So that I can have a conversation with the other child.
Do you think that when we pay so much attention to the victim, that it's teaching children to be victims?
Oh my God, that's so deep.
I know. But they're getting much
that it
attention.
teaches them a victim mentality?
Yes, that they're getting so much attention. This is a way I can get attention.
Possibly.
By being a victim. And now I'm going to, and you don't want them to have that victim mentality.
I remember, I worked one time in an environment where I worked with children from all ages, preschool through high school.
Yeah, wow.
I remember a teenager once who definitely had a victim mentality.
Yeah.
And when she wasn't a victim, she was hurt in some way. Right. Like she needed us to always be feeling bad for her.
Right.
Even if it was just like she was always hurt. Like I can't even describe it to you.
Yeah.
When nothing was happening, so she would come in with like an ace bandage on and we would say, "Oh my goodness, what happened?" And she would say, "Oh, I twisted my arm funny." Right. And I remember sometimes saying to her parents, "Is she okay?" She said she would twist her arm. And the parents just sort of going, "No, this is just what she does. She's fine. There isn't even any swelling." So it was very deep in that child, that whole, I need everyone's sympathy or empathy.
I don't want to say like having a victim mentality is that simple, because I think in this child's, it might have been a very deep issue.
Very deep.
And many, many reasons for it.
But there is also other victim mentalities where you just constantly paint yourself as a victim of what everyone around you is doing. Narcissistic people do that.
Yes.
Does it create a victim mentality because the children at very young ages are getting the lion's share of the attention for being a victim?
Yeah. And
that's potentially true, and I think we can all think about it after this episode.
Right, because if we're saying, the aggressor always wants attention, right? If that's what the mentality has been for decades, and that's why professional development still say ignore them. But now the children are like, well, wait a minute, I can get hurt and get a lot of attention that way.
Maybe
because I'm getting 10 minutes of attention when I only needed one.
We all know that there are children who will act like the victim after they were actually the perpetrator of the incident.
That is true too.
Right?
Yes.
They will do something that they know is going to irritate another child, they are.
Yeah.
I often tell people, if you didn't see the incident with your own eyes, don't take anybody's word for what happened. Just deal with the feelings and the hurt and the injury, because I can't assume. I can't even assume when I did see it that something didn't happen before it.
That's true.
Because very often the victim is actually the perpetrator.
Yes, that is true.
Right?
That is true.
I've seen lots of victim perpetrators in my time.
Yeah. But I think that's why you also have to attend to the aggressor, because that aggressor might be like, she hit me first.
Yeah.
You know,
seriously.
you would never know that.
Seriously.
If you didn't talk to them.
Like, she pulled my hair. You didn't see that.
You didn't see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, of course, I hit her. You know, like
So,
you're going to defend yourself. So, like.
Let's remember the child who we think is the aggressor
might
not have been the original aggressor even. So just attend to them.
Or sometimes it's like not physical aggression. Like
verbal.
Yeah. Hey, she whispered in my ear that I was whatever.
I can't go to her house.
Yeah. Or she's not my best friend anymore, or whatever it might be.
She's not inviting me to her birthday party.
Right. So, like, and it made me mad. Okay. So, like, but if you're not talking to the aggressor at all, you might not even realize that the real aggressor is the victim. Somebody who's being very quiet about it. Aggressive.
Well, it reminds me, there was an old TV game show. Which one was it? Wait, what's my line? Will the real so-and-so please stand up? Sometimes, so on What's My Line, for those of you who don't know it, you can watch it on YouTube, by the way. The watch the old black and white episodes. They're the best. So someone would come on, three people would come on, and they would all claim to be the same person with the same career, and it was the panel of celebrities would ask them questions and try to determine who is the real person.
I think they just redid this show.
They might have, but it's never as good as the original.
Yeah, no, the original's good.
Go back to the black and white episodes from like the 50s and 60s. So they would question the people, and then they had to name who they thought the real person was. And then the host of the show would say, would the real Cindy Terrabush please stand up? And they would all shuffle and pretend to stand, and then the real person would stand. And I feel that way about these aggressive situations sometimes. I want to say, would the real aggressor please stand up? Because I don't necessarily have that right based on what I saw or heard.
Right. Yeah.
So we're going to attend to the victim for as long as necessary, and then we are going to attend to the aggressor, who we did not send away from us, who we did not turn our back to, who in fact we might have a hand on while we're talking to the victim.
Right. Yes.
If they're okay with that.
Yeah.
All right, folks, I hope this gives you thought. I think we all need to go back and think about that whole victim mentality thing. If you have thoughts, let us know. You know how to get to us. We said it at the end of the last episode. So if you want to know how to get to us, you can go to the last episode and listen, or you can go to YouTube, where there's a QR code. Allison's going to move her head a little bit. There's a QR code on YouTube at the end of the episode on YouTube that you can scan with the camera on your mobile device, and then click on the website it names. It'll take you to all our links. Yeah. And if you do go to YouTube, please do like and subscribe. That would be great.
That'd be awesome.
Comment. We get comments on YouTube sometimes. I get excited. I comment back.
Yay.
I actually do comment back. So I also, Allison and I both answer people on Facebook and through our contact form and all that. You will actually interact with us. So please feel free to do that. Maybe not the hate mail. We could live without that.
That's something we do kind of ignore.
Yeah. Not gonna lie,
we do ignore that
because we can't even sit face to face with you and talk about it. So all right, folks, we will catch you next time on the How Preschool Teachers Do It podcast.
That's right.
Catch you next time.
Bye, peeps.